So now I'm going to show you how to make the print. So this is a star that I did a couple of days ago that I printed off already. This is the one that we've just done. Can you see it's all shiny because it's now properly sealed and dry. Make sure it is dry, that nothing's coming off because otherwise you won't be able to print off it properly. We've also got the little angel that we did from our star there, which is really lovely. And I might use this to print off first. I've also shown you just here, these are just offcuts of cards that were just left on the table, and I've just placed them on that because that glued onto a piece of card makes a very beautiful angel. So do have some fun, you know, whether it's making Christmas trees or more angels, you know, or multiple, see there's an angel there that's from offcuts. Just as many multiple kind of images as you can, because it's lots of fun. And like I said, they can be used over and over again. So how are we going to print this off? If you want to have an idea of what that's going to look, you can make a little rubbing of it as well, which is nice, just with wax crayon. But I'm going to crack on and just go straight into this. So I'm going to use a nice dark brown card. And I've put some of my paint out here. You can use paint or printing ink. This is an acrylic paint. If you wanted to make it a little bit more viscosy, you can add a little bit of PVA with water. I'm lucky enough to have a roller, but because I know a lot of you won't have rollers, I'm not going to use this for applying it. But the roller, you would actually just spread it out like this until so that stickiness is gone, and then you would actually roller it on like so. But because you haven't got a roller, some of you will only have the old brushes, I'm going to use the printing ink. I'm using this as my wet area and this will be my dry area, so I'm going to try and keep them my dry area for printing here. So I'm actually just going to, on the actual raised bit, now it doesn't matter if it goes on to the bit behind. If you've got a tiny little brush, you might be able to intricately paint it on just to the raised area. But you know what? It actually looks quite nice when there's a little bit of like snowiness behind. So I don't mind that there's going to be a little bit of a texture in the background. But can you see I'm actually putting enough so it's evenly covered. So I'm going to just go a little bit closer there, evenly covered. Can you see? And you don't have to cover the whole of the background, but you have to make sure that the triangles are covered. Now, the important thing now is to take your hands, make sure that they're clean, and give them a wipe off if they're not. Because within another area, a dry area, which I'm going to use here, I'm going to do the print. Now, if you're not sure that you will steadily be able to put this in the right area, you can very, very carefully place it gingerly on your piece of card, like so. I'm pressing it down like that and I'm holding it, and then I'm going to flip it over, because what one would do, I'm keeping it, not moving it. What I do now is a little bit like Izzy Wizzy. I'm actually going to press it. Now this, again, if someone's got a dry roller, you can roll it, but I'm actually using the firmness of my fingers like that. So like we used to do Izzy Wizzy, let's get dizzy. I'm actually just pressing, and I can actually feel the wings, the little head, the triangle of a body, the little plinth. And I'm actually going to go into the white to the edges because I might have a little bit of that white. Now, you can actually see that stuck now, and I can actually see whether it's taken or not. I actually think it needs a little bit more. And what you'll find is your first print might not be your best, because by the third print, the ink is really taking on your block. So I've actually got an imprint there. You can actually see an imprint of the angel there through that paper. Now, some people use, you know, drawing through to create lines, and sometimes that comes up too. So we'll see if it comes off on there just a little bit. So there's my first print. So I've just peeled it off. But can you see that there are little bits of gaps? So I'm going to print that one again. So that's my first print. I'm happy with that, and I will glitter it. They will all be slightly different. So I'm going to use purple this time, and I'm going to use the brush again, and no need to wash in between. The PVA has sealed the card, and at the very end of this, you then go to wash it off. So I'm actually just printing it off like that. Just covering it, sorry, not printing. Covering it with this quite gooey paint solution. Like I said, a nice thick paint, nothing too wash. You won't be able to use watercolours for this. Again, in the dry area, make sure your hands are clean. I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to actually press it down like that in the middle. I'm going to hold it very carefully. Now, if you feel that you can place it down straight onto this, that's fine. Again, I'm doing the pressing really hard all the way around. So the gaps in the print, the gaps that actually define the actual angel there, is because I have a gap in the shapes. So that actually creates the line of the drawing. I'm actually going to use the whole of my palm there, and I can actually feel again the head, triangle, and there. And this will be my second print. I don't expect it still to be my best, but that's getting better. It's a little bit stronger. If you feel like there's some areas where the lines are merging, you can at this point take the end of your brush and draw back into it. Bring back some of the purple there. And if you want, you can even put a little decoration at this stage on your angel's dress, like so. Draw back into it, which is quite pretty. And my third one, can you see you can do a number, you see? Now, if you want to use a different colour, you would have to use a damp cloth to wipe this back. And you'd need to do it a couple of times. I suggest wet wipes are very good. Again, it's nicely covered. And the other thing that some people do is they actually draw into the ink as it is now. So if you wanted, you could actually do some little circles, some feather lines maybe, they're like that. So I'm actually just varying it slightly. Look, I've actually done some drawings into that. Again, I've got to wipe my hands, and I'm going to get another piece of card. So again, similar. This time I'm just going to register it like so, knowing that I'm just slightly over, and I'm going to rub it like that. So very effective, and each one can be slightly different. So they're one-off prints. Again, I'm pressing quite hard to put a bit of weight behind this. If you feel that you want to stand and push into it, you can. If you've got a dry roller or an old rolling pin, you might find that good. But I'm actually making sure I can feel the triangle, I can feel the wings, I can feel the feet there. I'm going to print that off there. Now that's really nice. That's my third, and can you see it's quite clear, and can you see the little drawings that I did into it are really, really lovely there. And likewise, you can then go for one of your stars. So I'm going to leave that. I wouldn't leave it too long before washing it, but I'm going to leave it. It's okay for 5-10 minutes. And I'm going to just print this just to show you. If you find it's a bit tacky, this is water-based paint or ink. Just a little bit. It's getting a bit viscousy. So I'm actually putting a bit more on there. Again, I'm feeling that that is a little bit wet. So go back onto that. And just for this one, I'm just going to roller this. Because those of you who are lucky enough to get rollers, what you want to do is not have it sticky. And what I mean by that is where it's all got little bits of that lines like that. At any point you can add to your printing ink. They're like that. I'm being quite generous because I'm hoping that this first one will be quite strong. And again, because I'm going to cover the whole of the back of it, and we've just been playing with lines and dots and circles, I'm actually going to do feeling of other stars in the sky. So I'm going to do some little other stars, like so. Okay. Don't know, it's an experiment. Everyone is an experiment. What's lovely also is sometimes people will put doilies or something on top of them. Doilies are lovely, you can print off and it will create a stencil. There's all sorts of things you can try. So I'm aware that there's a little bit of ink there on the dry area, so I'm trying to be careful. I have wiped my hands each time. If you have more time, wipe down your areas as well that you're printing. So I'm actually just rubbing that really. If you remember that Izzy Wizzy Let's Get Dizzy, it's really fun. I'm actually going right out to the ends of the card, and this will be the last print that I'll do, but obviously I will go on and I will print a number of these. I will print, you know, as many as I want. They could be Christmas cards, they could be put in little frames, little mounts, very fetching in little white mounts. And they can just be put up with little clips around the room. You could do them in bunting shapes. There we are, that's quite pretty, look. They're like that, the star. And you can see some of the little shapes in the background there. So I will do some stills in a minute of some more, which I've dried, and I will glitter them. Do have fun. Make sure you wipe your hands in between and keep a wet area and a dry area. And above all, enjoy your angels and your stars and have a very happy, happy, happy Christmas. Okay, take care. Bye.